You are made in the image of God. You are a masterpiece. They will do whatever it is to mark you down, to put you on the clearance rack so they can afford you. I have very firm boundaries that even keep family away. I have family members I know cannot stand me. And it's not because I did anything to them. It's not because I hate them. It's not because I started anything, but because of who I am. Hey lovies, welcome to my channel. My name is Shan. If this is your first time here, I hope you love it here and that you will subscribe and you will come back for every video. If this is the first video that you're watching on my channel, feel free to catch up on some old videos so you can get to know more about me, more about what this channel is about, and of course, join my family. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. You know I appreciate you. Do not keep this to yourself. Share this video with your loved ones. Give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? I know I talk a lot about how important it is to love yourself, but not very often do we hear how to love ourselves. So we know we should, but we just need to figure out the how. You are made in the image of God. You are a masterpiece. The Bible does say that He made us. It said it in Genesis. He made us. He formed us, and He made us in His image. That in itself should put so many things into perspective for you. On the days when you are doubting yourself, on the days when you're asking yourself, am I being delusional? Am I asking too much? Am I asking too much of this person? Am I expecting too much? Remind yourself that you are a child of God and you were made in His image. Ever so often I get to talk with women that I've met in this space, that I've met on Instagram, from TikTok, and a lot of the issues that they share with me come from wanting to love themselves more, not even knowing where to start. A lot of the reasons why some of us struggle with loving ourselves is because of something that probably happened in our childhood, some amount of trauma that we would have experienced from relationships, friendships, families, whatever. And so we get to the point where we struggle to see ourselves the way God sees us. We struggle to see the worth. We struggle to understand where our worth, where our value comes from. And what you see a lot of in society now is that people try to attach their value to how much money they have in their bank accounts, what kind of jobs they do, whether or not they have a career, how important this career is to others, how many followers they have, how many subscribers they have, whether or not they are married, whether or not they have children, the color of their skin, the texture of their hair, and so many other things that we try to attach our value to. But you know what? You will never find love in any of those things, because the love that we should have comes from the inside. The love that God gave us, like He gifted us with life. He gifted us with His love. And when He said, I made you in my image, that was enough reason on its own to not let anything stop you from loving yourself, to not let anything make you doubt yourself, make you doubt whether or not you are deserving of good things, whether or not you are deserving of the love that you want. And I have experienced it. I didn't get to this place overnight. This didn't just happen by chance out of nowhere. There was a point where I questioned my worth. There was a point where I didn't know my value, or I put my value on something else. There was a point where I was more concerned in, okay, how I looked to people, and I tried to please people. I tried to show up. I wanted people to like me, and I can assure you, it doesn't matter how amazing you are, everyone will never like you. I'm pretty sure there's someone watching this video right now that probably can't stand me for no real reason whatsoever, but they just can't. And you know what? That's okay. But I had to get to that point where I realized that I will never ever be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. When I learned that, it reflected in everything, every decision that I made, how I showed up, how I didn't show up. I am that person, and if you know me personally, you know I'm okay with losing people. I'm okay with losing family. I'm okay with losing friends. I'm okay with losing relationships if it means that I have to compromise my boundaries, and if it means that I have to change who I am. As long as I know that I am being real and I'm being true to myself, I do not care who I lose in the process. So that's one of the things that you have to do to love yourself. Not care who you disappoint in the process of showing up for yourself, doing right by you, doing the right and honest thing to do. If you lose people along that journey, that's okay. If people think that you've changed, because I've been getting that a lot for years, ever since I really started doing the work on myself, I started really trying to get closer to God. I started to consciously choose to do better. I've been getting a lot of, oh, you have changed, you haven't been the same. And that's the whole point. You have to be okay with people saying, you're not the same, you used to be this, you used to be that, suddenly you have to be okay with that in order to love yourself. Because if you're trying on one side to really love yourself and you're also trying to please everyone around you, something isn't going to work out. And my advice to you is to choose you. Choose what works for you. Choose what serves you. Do not be dismayed by people trying to rob you of your value, because I can tell you what, a lot of times people see the value in you. They just really hope that you don't. So they know you're valuable. It's not that they don't see it. It's not that they don't see that you are worthy. They just really hope you don't. And that's what a lot of manipulators, they thrive on. They really hope that you'll never wake up one day and see that you deserve better. They hope that you'll never wake up one day and look in the mirror and start to see yourself the way God made you. And so they will do things like, oh, you're too fat, no one else is gonna love you. Meanwhile, they're not even loving you. They're just hoping that you will never see beyond this. And so they'll say, you're too fat, you're too ugly, your skin is too dark, your hair is too kinky, your toes don't look right, you have too many kids, your past doesn't look like the best. And so they will do whatever it is to mark you down, to put you on the clearance rack so they can afford you. A lot of times we fall victim to it. People start to say things about us that we start to believe it. I have been told that my expectations are high, and this is as far as relationships and friendships and all that. I have been told that I'm too picky, that I'm vain because I choose to set certain standards. I have been told, you act like you're better than. I've been told that ever since I was a little girl, to be honest. If I were to get $20 for every time someone said, you act like you're better than people, I would have been rich even before I turned 18. And all that was because inside I knew that I didn't want to just accept anything. I knew that I liked nice things. I knew that I liked being prim. I liked dressing up. I liked looking cute. And that, for people, even that, they wanted to mark me down for that as a little girl. They were hoping that I would not see myself the way God sees me, that I would not see myself as valuable and as worthy. Even on the dating scene, I have had men say to me, well, your expectations are too high for this. So what they try to do is tell you what you should be, and then hope that when they present you with these things, you'll start to see it, you'll start to believe it, you'll start to hear it so much that eventually it will become your reality. They will try to tell you that you are no good simply because what they have to offer isn't what you want. They'll try to tell you that whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it is peace of mind, whether it is a particular partner, they'll tell you it doesn't exist. And the whole idea is to get you to give up on yourself, to get you to doubt yourself, to get you to not believe that you are worthy of a certain thing, so that you can become more accessible for them and that you will remain that way. If you're selling a used car, you take it to a used car dealer, and the whole point is they want to pay the least possible for it. This might be a really good car in really good condition that can really be good for someone, and trust me, they know that, because once they're able to get you to sell it to them for the cheapest value, they're like, bingo, now I have something that's valuable that someone else wants. And so they go and they just rack it up and they're smiling. If they can convince you, oh, this little nick on the door is gonna, that's $500 off. If they can say, oh, the seat doesn't look exactly like the other one, it looks like there was a spill here, if they can get you to sell your car that's in really good condition, that you probably paid 20 grand for, If they can get you to sell it to them for $500, they'll do that, and then they'll go back and sell it for 15 grand because they know it's worth it. It's not like they don't think it's valuable. They know it is, but they're hoping you don't know how it is. And so my encouragement to you is ensure that you treat yourself to a certain standard. Set that standard for people. Ensure that when they come into your life, the boundaries are clear. I tell you what, I've gone to people's homes, not very often, and I've seen how they treat their homes. Like, you can walk into a home and know when people respect it, know when people treat their homes a certain way. You can tell when a home is being cared for. When you walk in and you can tell that the baseboards are clean, everything is dusted nicely. It's not just cleaning up for visitors. Okay, I can tell when I walk into a house and know when you just cleaned up because I'm coming, or know that this is a house that is well kept. And I can tell you what, when someone walks into my house, there's a sign at the door that says, take your shoes off. Before the door opens up, before they can see inside, they see the sign. I'm pretty sure probably people see the sign and they're like, take your shoes off. Ugh. But I can tell you what, when they open the door and they see how the house is kept, they have no issue anymore with taking their shoes off. They're ready because they're like, oh, okay. And they come in and you can tell that there's reverence. You can tell that there's respect based on how they use the furniture, how they take things, how they replace things, because they come in and they realize that this is a place that is well kept. So suddenly the boundary that was set out at the door that says remove your shoes, suddenly that fades because they're like, oh, that's why you said remove your shoes. But just imagine if the sign out there said remove your shoes, please remove your shoes, and when they walked in it was dusty and moldy and the furniture was dirty and unorganized, they would be like, oh, you must have meant remove my shoes to save me the trouble. See the difference? They come in and automatically they know this person has this boundary to protect this. Immediately they come in and they're like, oh, that is so beautiful, that is so clean, that is so whatever. They come and when they sit, they're like this because they don't want to leave a mess. However, when you walk into a person's house and you can see that it is not well kept, you look at their environment, immediately you're like, yeah, you'll probably still sit this way. It's because you don't want to get dirty. And if you're a person who don't care, you'll drink from a glass and slap that glass down on their coffee table because you don't even need to look for a coaster because you can tell they don't really care about that stuff. So it is really up to you so that when a person walks into your home, walks into your life, they will see how you take care of things. They will see, okay, she has boundaries. She knows what she means when she says, I will not take anything from anyone. I will not allow anyone to treat me any old way. But I can tell you, when people see that you don't have boundaries or you are okay with dishonoring your own boundaries, it takes nothing for them to walk in and try to get you to even get rid of the boundary altogether. Because if you're already breaking it, if you are saying, I will not be with someone unless this requirement is met, and they'll watch you just change that, they're like, oh, okay, she's not really serious then, that's okay. And that's what I'm trying to say to you, that you have to be firm about these things. I have said things that men have said to me, oh, that doesn't even exist. I remember saying to a guy, he had asked me a question and I told him what it is that I was not willing to accept, and he's like, oh, well, you're gonna have to compromise. He didn't even try. He didn't even try to figure out a way if he could even meet me halfway. He wasn't about to try at all. He was okay with just telling me this doesn't exist. Basically, forget that, accept what I'm giving to you. And we have to stop doing that. If you are going to love yourself, you have to be firm with knowing that you are not for everyone. And so some of the things that you have set for yourself, some of these standards that you have to know that some of these standards will actually work as a deterrent to other people. Some of these things will chase people away, and you know what? That's a good thing. When you say you don't want to have a friend in your life, that the friendship feels difficult and that it always feels like you're having to be the one to reach out and nothing is being reciprocated, setting that boundary might mean that you lose friends, and that's okay, because you really want to lose the people who do not respect your boundary anyway, or the people who do not align with you. When you say, I do not want a man who will intentionally go out and cheat on me knowing it's gonna hurt me, you know very well that there are going to be men who are going to say, okay, you are crazy, because why would you think that I will commit to just one woman? You will get rid of that man or those men who are not willing to meet you there. But that is the point after all. You have to love yourself enough, or care to love yourself enough, to know that making these decisions will lead to you losing people, will lead to you probably having a lot of lonely times. Like, I have a few friends. I have a few friends that I consider friends, that I consider close to my heart. And this is by choice. It's not because I couldn't have a whole ton of friends, but you know what? Everyone will not understand my boundaries. I have very firm boundaries that even keep family away. I have family members, I have cousins who I know cannot stand me. And it's not because I did anything to them. It's not because I hate them. It's not because I started anything, but because of who I am. But you know what's never gonna happen? I'm never gonna try to change to be liked. I am never going to try to water myself down to be accepted, just like I will not do that for a man either. I have done it before. I have compromised before. I have looked at what it is that I'm expecting, what it is that I'm hoping for, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should change this, because if I have this and I have that on it, then it will lessen the number of people that will meet my criteria. When people say things like, you shouldn't have a list, my mother have always said something to me: a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. So while I do believe that you cannot just have this list, that it has to be that in that order, I agree. However, there is always place in your life when you are single to have a list. Like, you need to know what it is that you would prefer, so that you know what it is that you do not want. If you're just out there like, yeah, I'm just dating, I don't have a list, I don't have a type, I don't care, I'll just take anyone, that's where you find real issues. You have to know, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I do not want? And so then you can figure out, what are my deal breakers? What am I willing to compromise on? How soon am I willing to compromise? Because how much you compromise will also affect you. My video before this one spoke about decentering men and how important that is for you to love yourself to the point where you cannot make decisions solely on who I'm going to attract and how I'm going to make him happy if I do this and what I gotta do to put myself. Like, you have to put you first. You have to start with understanding who you are, understanding what you need to change, because a part of loving yourself also includes owning the parts of you that you probably need to work on. I said this some time ago on Instagram that a lot of women, I have been there too, we do not want to hear the things that are sensitive. So I spoke about how important it is for you to get into the gym, work on yourself, work on yourself, work on being your best self. Stop making peace with the things that you don't like, in the sense that you try to sugarcoat them. So if I just say this is my happy weight, then I can ignore the fact that when I look in the mirror, I feel uncomfortable. When I'm trying to get dressed to go anywhere, I'm changing 10, 12, 14 outfits because everything I put on, I don't feel sexy, I don't feel confident, I don't feel comfortable. We have to stop lying to ourselves. So that's another part of loving yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Like, it's okay to love yourself exactly how you are right now. So it doesn't matter what you look like. If you have scars, if you have extra fat in places, you can love yourself at your current state, but also love yourself enough to know, you know what, girl, you can do so much better. You know, you look this way and you love it, and you love your love handles, and you love everything about you, your cellulite and everything. But you probably look and you're like, but I have some extra belly fat that I could do better about. I'm going to do something about this. Like, that is also loving yourself. As women, sometimes we prefer to be lied to. Social media makes it even worse, because your friends will be afraid to say to you, girl, listen, like, you need to lay off that Ozempic, okay? Like, you look sick. Your friends will be afraid to say, girl, you need to cut down on those burgers because it's really starting to show. Your friends are so afraid to say that because they're afraid of what the friendship will become, how it will affect. Oh, she'll be, no. We should be able to tell ourselves the truth. So when you look in the mirror and you're like, girl, you did not always look like this. This is not family, whatever. This is not medication. This is you just being lazy. Loving yourself includes telling yourself the truth, looking at yourself and seeing the truth, and choosing to do something about the things that you actually can change. So I encourage you, I say this with love. Please do not receive this as me bashing anyone, as me downing anyone. This is me just sharing the truth with you as it is. And that's another reason why I know I could never have a lot of friends, because this is the kind of relationship that I have with my friends where we can tell each other the truth. Like my friend can say, listen girl, I don't know what you were thinking. That dress is not it. It does not compliment your body. Don't do it again. Don't do that hairdo again. That makeup shade is not for you. That's the kind of friendship that we have, where I can say to my friend, okay, keep going. You're going to be as big as outside. And they don't take offense because they know that I'm not trying to offend them. I'm saying this with love, but that's just how we are. And I'm hoping that we can have that same kind of rap on this channel, where you do not feel like I'm targeting you. You do not leave here thinking, oh, she was attacking me. If you felt bad about it, I hope that you feel bad to the point where you're like, oh, girl, why are you attacking me, in a funny way, but you actually use that as a push to do something about it. If you are in a position where you know that you're allowing people to trample upon your boundaries, you are accepting too much from people, you are still people pleasing, you are still allowing men to run circles around you because you have not stood up, you have not even started your journey yet, do not feel bad. It is okay. Everything does not happen overnight. Like I said, I have been there, and so I can say that to you because this is something that I have personally experienced, and I hope that you receive it with love, because I do say it with love. I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you are on your self-love journey, if you are learning how to love yourself better, if there are other things that you have been doing to show up for yourself, to really dive into loving yourself more boldly, more openly, and unapologetically. Let me know in the comments section. I really look forward to connecting with you, and I also look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.